Welcome back to the Central Indiana Sports Report's Colts fans, to the Colts Report this week with Will Retherford, here to break down the film, talk about everything that's going on with the Colts. It's not our reaction to the last game because we already did that, and it's not a preview of the next game because we're going to do that. It's kind of in the middle. The current state of the Indianapolis Colts, and I'm here with Will Retherford. I'm your host, Greg Mengelt. Will, I think probably the Colts' worst game of the year, their worst total performance, I think, and they still got away with a win. They're 5-1, a lot to like.
Yeah, I think that they played okay. I would not say it's a win that you feel great about. It's not a win that you look back and say that was an excellent team win. I thought it was gritty. I thought they played hard. But defensively, there was a lot not to like. I think more defense than offense is where I see the issue starting to really pop up. But they got the job done. That's all you can ask for. Move on to the next week, 5-1, going to the Chargers.
Any win in the NFL is good, particularly a team that's competent, and the Cardinals are competent. They're not good. They're not going to go anywhere near the playoffs, but they're competent, and there are a lot of issues. It looked like this week there were issues in the defensive backfield. I think that's because the front seven is so inefficient.
I agree.
That it makes the defensive backfield look good. We will talk about some of the negatives, like you said, mostly on defense. Well, let's start with some of the positives.
Okay.
And let's start with, once again, the Colts come out of the locker room first drive and look incredible on both sides of the ball. Ready to play every single week.
I think that the scripted first 15 was good. I thought that they incorporated all of their playmakers early. I would have liked to see Michael Pittman maybe be slightly more involved. I know the game plan kind of swayed towards using Taylor to run the ball efficiently, which they did run the ball very efficiently. With that being said, I just like getting the ball my playmakers early. I think it gets them engaged in the game. I think tunnel screens, quick slants, stuff like that, just to get Pittman involved. He's great in the RPO game. I would have liked to have seen that early, but outside of that, I thought they came all engines humming. The left side of the offensive line looked great early. It stayed great the entire game. And Tyler Warren once again caps off that first drive with a touchdown. He looks so talented.
6 games, 6 times they've come out and been ready to go. And I think that's pretty much all you can ask for from the preparation side of coaching.
Absolutely.
The other side, I maybe have some issues. The decision-making in-game, some personnel decisions maybe. Otherwise, but preparation, I think the defense was prepared this week. It's just not good enough. And we will get there. Tyler Warren. You talked about Tyler Warren. I think that's the number one thing. I think a lot of people think coming out of this week, Jonathan Taylor is the topic of discussion number one, and he is a deserving topic number one. But Tyler Warren every week proves to me, I think proves to us, why we're so high on him, as high as humanly possible.
Well, he looks great, really, in all facets of the game. I thought his PFF grade run blocking was a little lower than it should have been. I thought they used him really well. They highlighted all of his strengths as far as moving across the formation on wham blocks. I thought that he was good with his hand in the dirt. He's just a really capable blocker. He's a willing blocker. I think he's aggressive. I think he
wants to be a good blocker.
I think he's great at the point of attack with his hands. He uses his hands really well on blocks. There's just so much to like with what he's able to do as far as moving bodies for Taylor, creating holes.
And are we sure we need another quarterback? Could we just make Tyler Warren the third string quarterback?
I think he probably could be. I think he's that athletic. He's really good just at finding space, and he's not off the charts fast. I think we could all agree on that, but he just super fluid. I think he misses tackles really well. He really reminds me a lot of Travis Kelce with the ball in his hands as far as the way he is able to move at his size. Yeah. I don't think he's as fast. And prime Travis Kelce's probably the greatest receiving tight end that has ever played the game. Rob Gronkowski comes to mind.
Tony Gonzalez. Those are the other.
Tyler Warren looks cut of that cloth. I think that he's a real game changer, and he is the Colts' number one receiver, whether people like to admit it or not.
So good. And we will get to the quarterback situation here in the negative part of the... We're going to start with the positives, and number 2, as I mentioned, Jonathan Taylor. Just the perfect back for the scheme and personnel. No matter the situation, you just have to keep going to him over and over and over. If they're going to be successful in the long run, Jonathan Taylor in the fourth quarter is going to be what it takes.
Yeah, I agree with that. One thing I'm not loving right now is the amount of work he's getting. I think it's early in the season. Yes, we want to win games, but like the way this team is playing, it's a playoff team, and I don't want Jonathan Taylor worn down by an incredibly high workload. I would like to see maybe a little bit more DJ Giddens getting involved in early downs every once in a while. I think just sprinkling him in there, one, it's good for Giddens, because if Taylor goes down, Giddens is the starter. And has he really gotten a ton of NFL work? I would argue outside of week 1 where he came in garbage time, no, he really has not. I would like to see what he is able to do behind that offensive line and just give Taylor a break every once in a while. He's been a true bell cow, and I know that's what people want from him. I just view it as...
But at the start of games, you got to go Taylor.
Absolutely.
Taylor.
I just think it there in the second and third quarters, especially when you're up 2 scores, I think you can sprinkle DJ Giddens in and expect to get similar results just with the seams that offensive line is able to open up.
Get more creative when you have a backup.
Yeah.
It's probably as simple as that. And after I spent the first, 4 weeks of the season praising the right side of the offensive line, the last few weeks, the left side has been really good. The right side, not quite as good. Matt Gonzalez had his worst game of the season this week, and you see a couple of chinks in the armor. Not many. For a second-year guard, he's really good. But I think Quentin Nelson's playing the best football of his career.
I think he's played really well all year. I know you were on the Gonzalez is better than Quentin Nelson. I think the last couple weeks have shown why he's an all-pro guard, why he's made the Pro Bowl all 7 years of his career. He looks really good. They're just, whenever they want to make a play in the run game, they follow him. Whether it be on a sweep play where he's pulling, whether they're using him up the middle, whether they're using him on outside zone, I think that they are trying to put Taylor behind Quentin Nelson as much as humanly possible and letting him just be a one-man wrecking crew. Now, I will say that Bortolini has been awfully good to his right side, and Bernhard Raimann, for where he struggled in pass protection, he's made up for with an incredibly efficient run block performance.
Downfield blocking was good last week.
Yeah. I think we talked maybe an injury. He seems to be coming out of whatever funk he was in, whether he was dealing with something or whether...
Pass blocking still hasn't been...
Yeah, systematically there was kind of an issue, but he looks better. He just looks like he's moving better.
And Braden Smith's pass blocking on the other side has been really...
Yeah, he's an excellent right tackle. I would say top 8 right tackle probably in the league. He's just always somebody that you just don't hear much from, and I don't want to hear anything about an offensive lineman really throughout the game, because if I'm hearing it, they are offsides, a holding, or an illegal contact to the head or neck area. As far as the face mask, I don't want to hear about my offensive lineman.
And here's the last bit of good news, I think, that I had, is that kickers are, in fact, a dime a dozen. The difference between the best kicker and the worst kicker in the NFL has never been smaller. The gap has never been smaller than it is right now. They're all just pretty good.
I think that there are definitely better kickers than others.
Worth a hubbub. Not worth being that concerned that your kickers...
The ball doesn't...
UFL kickers are making 85% and they're kicking 55 yards.
I don't think Badgley's ball booms off the foot quite like Schrader's does.
Not quite as good.
But I think that he's very admirable in his stead. I think that he is a guy that he's probably going to make 85% of his kicks. You feel pretty happy about it. You probably don't want him kicking from 60 plus the way that you would probably feel comfortable sending Schrader out there for. But honestly, I think with Steichen, the offense is going to be going for it an awful lot. If they're with fourth inside 5 yards, they're kind of in that 55 to 60 yard field goal range. I see Steichen probably going for it a lot, knowing his kicker situation. And I think Badgley's really good from inside 50. I think he's really accurate. There's a reason that Spencer Schrader's a starting kicker. There's a reason that Badgley wasn't this team's starter. Whether we want to admit it or not, there is a top 32.
There's not that much difference.
But the gap between the two is not much.
Not like it would be if it was wide receiver.
I agree with that.
All right, let's get to some negatives, because I want to throw out some negatives, and the first one's not that negative. It's just that Daniel Jones had his worst game of the season, but it really wasn't that bad. It was a C+, not a D-.
Yeah.
And it was good enough to get the win. He was pretty darn good much of the game. The interception he had, I think, was a really good play made by the Cardinals defender as much as anything. But man, for the season, you can't give him anything but an A, right? For
he's
what we expected.
Absolutely been an A. I thought he was good when pressured. He was
at times
9 for 9 with 93 yards and a touchdown when pressured.
Wow.
This past week. He looks really confident whenever they're bringing more than 4. I think that early pick, he kind of stared the receiver down a little bit, made that linebacker, and that's honestly probably a throw that you want to throw away. It's a tight, tough window to get through, or maybe just take off and try
most
to pick.
Most linebackers probably don't make that play.
If last night is an example, there's a reason defensive players don't play offense. They can't catch the ball to save their life. I've never seen, I don't know how defensive players, when the ball is thrown directly to them, do not catch more footballs. It baffles me. But yes, I think that's true. The pick, you go and watch the replay, the linebacker didn't even catch it clean and it was thrown right to him. So you'd like to see that hit the turf. It didn't. They got the ball right back.
It would have gone right to the receiver if he hadn't gotten his hands
Absolutely.
on it. That's the thing. It was headed right to his receiver on target.
It's just one of those where maybe instead of throwing that ball there, you either burn the ball, throw it out of bounds, or you just try to pick up a couple yards with your legs, slide, get down, move on.
He just did not expect that linebacker to make that
I don't
move,
think so.
And it was just an unfortunate throw. But again, if that's the worst you're saying about Daniel Jones, I think we're in pretty darn good shape.
Yep, I agree.
Now let's get to the real negatives. This defense, as it's currently constituted, is not going to stop anybody. And you're going to have a shootout every week. Ward and Moore are a definite Band-Aid when they come back. No doubt about it. They will help a ton. But they've got to upgrade at a lot of positions on the defense.
Yeah.
They're just not good enough.
I'm curious to see what they will do at the deadline. This is a team that historically has been pretty quiet when it comes to early November. I don't know what they're going to do. I feel like it's Trey Hendrickson was somebody that the team was probably going to target. The fan base clearly wanted him, but he just suffered a back injury and their loss to Green Bay. Maybe he's down a few weeks and all of a sudden he's not available. I'm not sure. There's going to be a lot of buyers, I think, at the deadline. So they're going to probably have to outbid a couple teams to get a true game-changing edge that can come in and help fix that area of their game, which is where I really think the weakness is. The secondary is doing its best to cover for just a lack of getting to the quarterback. Jacoby Brissett had way too much time. The linebackers can't cover anyone in space. They're teetering on the line of they're 5-1, but I question, is it sustainable the way that defense is constructed? Because they're going to play some good teams coming up, and I think get exploited a little bit if they're not.
They're getting the playoffs if they fix it or not. But
I
can
agree.
they contend with those other teams?
I don't know.
Can you have a shootout win against some of these other teams? And man, there just don't seem to be any other teams, Will.
I think their offense, as currently constructed, can win a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Without question.
Agreed.
I think their offense is plenty good enough to win. They've got all the right pieces in all the right places. They're built from the ground up. Defensively, though, I have a lot of questions. And I think you've seen the past few years, defenses, while the Super Bowls have been high scoring, are part of the reason that the team gets there. And right now, this team is nowhere near a defense. I think you could make an argument that they're maybe the worst defense in the division. The Texans and Jags both are been pretty good defensively. The Titans, question mark. Maybe the Colts are the third best defense, but regardless, I don't think that's going to be good enough to get the job done.
So we know without Kenny Moore and Charvarius Ward, they're not good.
Yeah.
That's what we know. If they come back when they played, they've been pretty good.
Yeah.
Even in that Denver game, the defense made enough plays to win that game.
Absolutely.
And I thought the defense had been pretty good. But I think we are seeing now that they're just not good enough.
The Colts need to be lucky that Marvin Harrison left the game early in the second quarter with a concussion because
absolutely.
They were struggling to cover Zay Jones. And if you're struggling to cover Zay Jones, then Marvin Harrison was going to feast. I thought the pass defense got worse as the game went on. I think the amount of pressure the defensive line got worse as the game went on. Yeah, I think that you're fortunate that you lost potentially their best player on their team. I know that Trey McBride is somebody that is easy to circle and say that's our best offensive player, but I think Marvin Harrison's a game changer. Defenses are still worried about what he's able to do.
Yeah. It's a defense that's really going to have to depend on turnovers and big plays, sacks, but man, the pass rush just is, the stats say they're in the middle of the pack in the NFL, but our eyes tell us That's probably because the defensive backfield's been pretty good all year. Yeah. And I'm going to stand by this. Zaire Franklin, Latu, Quiddipe, just not good enough.
I agree.
They might be the worst three players on the defense. And that includes the second and third team secondary guys that have come in and been pretty good.
Franklin's hard to watch. He can't cover his own shadow. He's been really bad.
He runs behind blocks. He misses tackles.
He picks up. He's top 3 in tackles. Yeah, he leaves 4 or 5 out there every single week that feel big.
Or 10 yards down the field because he's running behind blockers.
I would argue that the best tackler on this team is Nick Cross, without question. I think his ability.
The whole defensive backfield. Kenny Moore is a great tackler, and Ward is a very good tackler.
Yeah, they need Kenny Moore being gone. It's exploited a lot of weaknesses.
Bynum is a very good tackler. I think they're all good tacklers back there, but up front, it just isn't good enough.
They brought in the new linebacker. He had 11 tackles, I believe. I don't know. Sometimes tackles are deceiving stats.
They are.
You had 11 tackles, but
where are they on the field?
If you can't cover anybody in zone coverage, or you can't make a tackle within 5 yards of the line, which Cardinals did not run the ball well, which is why I thought it was so interesting that the Colts looked really bad in play action. What are you worried about? The Cardinals are on their 4th string running back, and we think that's what's going to burn us. That's what situationally to me, it's like, why are we baiting them into, hey, we'll let you suck the defense up and then we'll just dink and dunk the whole way. That's how they let Jacoby Brissett feast. He was just efficient as far as in the play action game. I don't know. I just, situationally, I was a little confused as to why our linebackers looked so lost.
It was all good enough to win another game. 5-1, best record, a best point differential, most points scored. So much to like. Yes. I don't want to be too negative. We are going to go back around to this and talk about what's coming up and the position that they're in. But one more negative, and it's a man named Mr. Mitchell. Adonai Mitchell didn't play last week. Doesn't look like he's part of the plans.
I said that they should have cut him whenever they benched him the first time. Or trade him. Get whatever you can for him. He's clearly not. Great receivers don't ever get benched for whatever reason. Cut bait and move on and say, hey, we messed up in the second round, whatever. I hope that the loss of Anthony Richardson does not come back to hurt them. Daniel Jones has not played a whole season his entire career. I feel like there's an injury coming at some point that might take him out for just a week. But still, I think Richardson, you felt like a capable backup in the system.
Anybody they brought in today pique your interest?
No, none of these guys. I think if these are our options, we're better with Riley Leonard starting and Daniel Jones' spot. At least Riley Leonard has been in camp with them.
Still would have to have a third string.
Jeff Driscoll, Jaron Hall, Tanner Mordecai, Kyle Trask. Is there a win between those 4 in the NFL? No. Bring Riley Leonard in, let him see if he can be what he looked like in the preseason, which was a capable backup NFL quarterback. Good athlete. I think you give him the chance. I think that they're bringing...
Only he's an NFL passer, but he can do some things.
I would say that these 3 are getting brought in as the third string. I hope we don't get to the point where I've got to see Jeff Driscoll suit up for the Colts. That will be really bad.
Richardson. It seems like what they're speculating.
That dude's cursed. I don't know what it is with him, but he just... What a freak injury.
Crazy. Ward's too.
Yeah,
2 pre-game injuries.
That Ogletree should be getting cut. That can't happen. Whatever he was doing, that can't happen. I don't know what the thought process was warming up opposite directions. I don't know what coach, what trainer thought, hey, this is a good idea, but somebody's got to answer for that. Because if they lose that game because Marvin Harrison Jr. goes for 10 receptions, 100 yards, and 2 touchdowns, you're not over here singing the praises of what happened. You're over here really pissed off that a number 1 corner was taken out of a game in pregame, and it's probably going to miss next week as well because very hard to get out of concussion protocol. Injuries are starting to catch up with them a little bit, so hopefully that doesn't continue. They've been safe offensively, but you only stay lucky injury-wise so long.
Here's the good news. So the next 3 weeks to Los Angeles to face a good Chargers team, to Pittsburgh to face a good Steelers team. In between, you have the Titans. So worst case scenario, you're probably looking at 6-3, which is great through 9 games.
Yeah, you're happy with that. I think that I think there's a chance they're 9-1. or 8-1, excuse me, through 9. I think the Chargers have a lot of weaknesses. I think the Steelers have a lot of weaknesses, and I think the Titans are super beatable. But division games are always tough, and I'm glad that we're not playing them this week because the new head coach bump is real. Teams perform a lot better. But week 2, let's go see the record after that team wins the first week of their new head coach. The first time in my life, I think I'm bored being a Colts fan. It's boring. Like you just expect them you just expect them to win. No fear the Colts lose that game to the Titans. Not this Colts team. This Colts team is different.
It does seem so. Will, thanks so much.
Yep, thank you.
We will be back on Friday afternoon with our Colts Chargers preview. Please join us. Central Indiana Sports Report is a product of ITG Media, and I love Susie.